What's up everyone, I'm Tyler here from Payne Family Farms, and today we're putting together a swarm trap to see if we can catch some free bees. Alright, today we're going to be putting together our first swarm trap. We're going to put it out around here and see if we can't catch some free bees. We noticed that just over here in front of one of these houses there is a really nice almond tree that's starting to blossom already, and there's tons of bees around it. So we're hoping that we can catch some of those ones here in this trap. The first thing to know about a swarm is it's when a colony gets way too big to fit inside its previous hive, so a bunch of the bees leave the hive, leave the queen, and go searching for somewhere else. Sometimes they'll take a new queen, sometimes they'll raise their own one, but it's a chance to get some free bees that have already come from an established colony and could benefit you in the long run. And the plus side to all of that is it doesn't cost you any money. Now, the first and one of the most important things to do when putting together a swarm trap is to realize what kind of container you're going to use. Swarms, when they're leaving their colony, are looking for a suitable place to live. Their place that they came from is either too big and they're trying to find somewhere else, either temporarily or long-term. So you can kind of mimic a place where they'll want to come and where they'll want to be. Now, right here, we got this trap from a nice fellow up here where we live. It was about 20 bucks for 2 of these boxes, and they're about half the size of a normal Langstroth deep box. It can hold 5 frames, and it's perfect for what we need it for. It has a nice little opening, not too big and not too small for the bees to come and gather.
Now, it doesn't just have to be one of these small little boxes. You could also take a deep box, put your frames in it, do the same kind of traps, same kind of lures that we're going to be doing, and hang it up in a tree. The only thing to do is to make sure that it's all secured, either with a tie down or whatever it is, so the top and the bottom don't fall out on you when you're trying to take it down if you catch any of the bees. We've also tried to use a nuke box that we had from last year when we got some of our bees, and we're going to put that up in a tree as well and see if that works.
One of the key things with swarm traps is that you want to make sure that it's not brand new. You know, it needs to smell like a beehive. It needs to smell like bees have been there before, because that gives them a sense of security, knowing that it's a good place for them to go and for them to live. So something that we do and that we're going to do is we're going to put in some old bee brood comb that we got from an old hive that we have, that we got for free actually. So we're going to drop some of these pieces in here, kind of spread them around so that it's good for the bees. It'll attract them and it'll make it smell like it's been used. Another thing that we do is we can put in some old wax, and we got this from our hive from last year that we rendered down, and we have it here in a nice chunk. So preferably you'd want to coat the whole inside with them, but we're going to see if this way works. Next, we're going to be putting in the frames. So right here we've got a couple of empty frames with some plastic foundation. We're going to slide those in. You want to have some new places where the bees can feel like they can build and kind of expand outwards. So we'll put in these black ones that are our empty ones. This one here had some old brood comb on it. You can kind of see the black on it. We scraped most of it off, but it's still there, so it'll just help give them some additional smells and some additional way and reason to come to this place. And then we'll finish putting in the other 2. Now, probably the most important part is the kind of lure that you're going to use for a swarm trap. Right here we have some lemongrass oil. This is great because it actually imitates some of the pheromones that the bees give off, so it will bring them in and make it seem like there have been bees there. One of the most important things to do with your lure is to make sure that you get enough lemongrass oil on it. You want a couple of drops. You don't want to drown it, but you want it to be able to smell good but not be too overpowering. So once you get it onto your cotton ball here, you're going to put it in here. Just slide it in by the opening, drop that down in there, and you're good to go. You put the lid back on and you're ready to place your trap. Now that you have your trap all set up, one of the most important things to do is to find a good location for it. We've already found a pretty decent place. It's about 10 to 15 feet up in a tree, which is about where you want to put it. You want to put it about 15 feet up. 10 to 15 is the ideal range. That's where the scout bees will be looking. Now, if you can get it somewhere near a cluster of trees on the outside part of it, that's ideal as well, because that's where they will generally be looking. You want it as well near a good place where they can go out and find some pollen and some nectar and be able to build their own colony. Now, when you have your trap and you're placing it, you want to make sure that the entrance is open and that it is facing southeast preferably, especially if it's springtime, because that's the direction that you always want your hives to be facing. That will let the bees be able to leave when it gets warm, and they don't have to go out into kind of the cold air, and they could go to where it's a little bit warmer. Now we're going to be placing this hive. You want your hive to be able to be high enough that the bees can find it, but you also want it to be sturdy enough and secure enough so that nothing happens to it and it doesn't fall down. Just to make sure you tighten it down so it doesn't go anywhere, and you are good to go, and your swarm trap will be ready to catch some swarms. Now that we have our swarm trap placed, let's leave it here for a couple weeks and see if we catch anything.
If you guys like that video and want to follow along with our journey of growing from one beehive to as many as we can, please like and subscribe. Thanks.